I
Yes.
actually think we're going back to Chris. I think we're gonna play Chris again. I'm not 100%, but like it's just a gut feeling that I think we're gonna play Chris. Mainly because we haven't had a female protagonist in a long time.
Yeah, like well, we had it in Resident Evil 6, but I mean, it was like a constant swap back and forth depending on who you played.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. I just spaced out.
You're fine. Like they kind of had it in Resident Evil 6 because you could play as all the different characters, Ada, Elena, you could play as
Oh
Sherry,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
as main focus like with like Shiva, for example, in Resident Evil 5.
yeah. No, Shiva was definitely on the forefront of Resident Evil 5, and it just felt like the other ones were like the side. Um, Ada was the main of her own story, but it's, um, that's besides the point. Ada's always kind of been like her own kind of like girl who's always had her own side story.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as far as the next character that we're playing as, I can't see it being Ethan Sauter. As cool as it would be, I just don't see them going that route of making her the main focus. It's definitely going to
Yeah.
be Chris. And in all honesty, it might not even be Chris. They might bring back an old female protagonist because it might actually be going in that direction where they need a
Mm.
female protagonist, and maybe like Rose is with this female protagonist or something like that. You know what I mean? Instead of Chris.
Yeah.
But there's just so many directions that it could go. But the feeling that I'm getting is just it's going to be Chris.
I feel like it's going that way too, because as much as I think it would be cool to play as Rose, and I feel like it does go that route because it said the father story is now done. It would be cool to play as her because of her abilities, but I could see how the abilities would add complications to overall flow of the game mechanics, and like what to what extent things can be taken care of in it. But I do kind of feel like at the same time it'll go Chris's direction because the fact that now BSAA is involved. Not only that, but they're using BOWs, so that really adds an antagonist for Resident Evil 9. Maybe like who's behind the BSAA doing all this stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was a pretty big shock at the end where, there was a BOW that was getting dropped into the village as opposed
Mm.
to like actual soldiers from the BSAA, but they were wearing BSAA gear and stuff like that. And it raises a lot of questions for them because they've always been kind of like the good guys, but who knows?
Yeah, and like if you look through the concept art too, it actually gives a little extra lore on it, and it was talking about like BSAA became just as a corrupt place as Umbrella, and so they now just use BOW soldiers to handle this stuff. And I thought this was surprising, but in Resident Evil 7, Chris was part of Blue Umbrella, which I guess is
Blue Umbrella.
yeah,
Okay.
which is just like an off branch, but still a good thing. I don't know if that's still what Chris's organization is called because after 6, he formed his own organization. But I thought that was really interesting with BSAA, especially considering how heavily focused they were as the good guys in 5 and 6. I don't know if Leon wasn't for the BSAA. He was working exclusively under the president, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that was an special shock to me with that. I thought I so I think that I lost my train of thought on that. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's why I think the BSA is going to be like the main antagonist, or who knows, maybe it'll actually branch off into like something more in depth. Because I like the fact that gave more of the origin behind Umbrella with the whole umbrella symbol, and then finding out Oswald Spencer was at this village before with Mother Miranda when she was doing her experimentations in the early 1900s, and that's where he got the umbrella symbol from. So maybe it would be interesting to see it give some more of that lore. I feel like that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. Because like I said, it's something different. I want to see where the story's progressing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll eventually get to a post-apocalyptic Resident Evil game eventually, to where like everything's destroyed. But
Mm.
only time will tell. As far as seeing more of Rose, definitely think she's going to be a big point in the next game and her powers.
Hmm.
Whether she's controlling them or she's being controlled by someone or manipulated or whatever. I think that's going to be a big thing too because
Yeah, because
obviously
of her
she's just
powers.
running around. Yeah, she's just running around, so it's very possible, you know. But it's also very possible that she's strong and she can't. That doesn't happen to her, you know what I mean? And she just ends up saving the day towards the end of the next game. I do think we're probably going to see a couple old characters, maybe. Now that,
That's what I was
like
thinking.
I said, we're probably going to go back to Chris. Um, I couldn't not have seen older characters. Um, but other than that, I mean,
Who do you think may
good
be some
game.
old characters?
Mm, um,
Like, do you think they go
Probably
old?
Claire.
Like,
We'll probably see Claire. No, we'll probably see Claire.
Claire?
I could see us seeing Claire.
Maybe Jill too, since
Yeah, I was
Jill was
thinking Jill
Chris's
too.
partner.
Since
I wonder if
exactly.
I wonder if they would like try at all to like bring Leon into it. Maybe even bring as far back as like Barry. I don't know if he's still alive within the Resident Evil universe, but like maybe have Barry finally get another spotlight in the newest one since he's only been in the first and all the like side games of Resident Evil.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, like in all honesty, it could not be Chris. It could just be they could just bring a new character. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That'd be weird, but they could just do that.
Yeah. I wish we would have
I mean, they
seen
did.
Ethan's face, but because
I
I feel like
mean,
they
you
go
got
the same route.
the. Don't you got the figurine for his face?
It doesn't show. Like, and
It
I was
doesn't
actually,
show.
yeah, it doesn't show his face. And I was looking at some game YouTube videos today about the gameplay. And if you do like the 3D view of it in Resident Evil 8, he doesn't actually have a head.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's weird. But hey, that is what it is. They wanted him to remain super anonymous, apparently.
yeah, I can understand that part because like it adds more of that because a lot of people when they see like the final version of what the main character looks like it's either going to be either a good review or a bad review, and of course there'll always be some people that'll be like, well, no, that it's just he looks stupid as a main character. So I feel like they
Well,
kind of
I
went
just
that route with it just to keep
yeah,
that from happening, so you don't have to prejudge Ethan, you just go based off of his actions and what he goes through the games.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I can see why they did it, but I mean, it's just so weird because they've given every single other Resident Evil character a face.
I know that part did drive me insane because I would still like to see what Ethan looks like. I think there's some like in some gameplays of Resident Evil 7 where it does in fact show his face, but I'm not entirely sure.
uh, what would you what would you give your final rating for the game?
My final rating for overall in regards to the story and a lot of the features that they brought back, and then a lot of the times where it just left me with my jaw dropped with like when Mother Miranda ripped his heart out and then you really find out why he's so special. For that, I would definitely give it like a solid 9.5 for it for my particular taste with it with how the story was. I'd say a 9.5.
Okay. I'm right there. Like I said, there's a lot of like story wise, I'll probably give it like a 9, but like overall, probably gets like an 8 from me.
Yeah.
I'm a hard judge because, like I said, with the limited amount of enemies that there were and the two big wasted spaces for just bosses, it's just eh.
Yeah.
Seven was just a lot better.
Yeah. I could definitely agree with that side too.